The first car in this fourth series of the Great British Car Share is a pretty important car for the British motor industry at large.
Car.
In fact, if you will forgive me for saying that the Mini is probably the most important car that we've ever had in British motoring, then this was the Mini's replacement. It is, of course, the Metro, and we've got the beginning and the end of the Metro's story here. But it's a car that really led to the other cars in this series, because without this initial success, I have to be careful and caveat that, the initial success of this Metro, we wouldn't have had the Maestro and the Montego.
I don't think
Sarah.
a lot of people use British Leyland and success in the same sentence.
No,
generally.
But this was genuinely, for a short time,
Yes.
a success story.
Oh,
and
yeah, it was.
the patriotism in the country and the desire to replace the Mini with something that kind of was modern and fitted modern lifestyles. And let's not forget, Princess Di turned up to that famous photo shoot when she got engaged to Prince Charles.
Yeah.
In a Metro, not dissimilar to that one. These were important and iconic cars in Britain, and there was a real feeling that the country, after the difficult 70s and the oil crisis in the world and everything else, there was a feeling that Britain was really getting on with things, and that stiff upper lip was back. And this, we've said it a few times in this series.
This is what they came up with.
This is what they came up with. This
So
is the stiff upper British lip.
It is. So let's go and drive one.
Yeah, and not only that, we're going to drive some different ones.
We are.
Because here at the Great British Car Journey, there are a few Metros to choose from.
Yes.
So we were able
Yeah.
to hand pick.
Yeah.
And we've got a pretty special one for you, haven't we?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you picked it. let's get that out there.
Had
It
to,
was
had
his
to have the red
choice.
seatbelts, right? Had to have the red seatbelts.
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, so what we've got here is basically a more modern Mini Cooper. It's got the Mini Cooper engine with its big valve head and various other trinkets. 72 brake horsepower, which was a lot for a car that weighs like this, as much as this. These are fantastic little cars. The MG Metros are cool. If it was an MG Metro Turbo, it would obviously be even cooler. So
Yeah.
I've had one of these, or my dad had one of these. We saved it, the story I told you before, we saved it because it was there as a donor car for a Midas kit car. We got the MG Metro and thought, no,
We can't
break this.
Yeah.
So we sold the Midas and kept the MG Metro. And so I've got a bit of a thing for MG Metros, just like I've got a thing for Mini Coopers.
Yeah.
Normal Metros, as you also found out, not so much. You know? But here's the thing. Look. It's got a red seatbelt. And so have the Maestro and Montego, which is really cool. So I picked 3 cars today wholly on the basis that they've got red seatbelts, and I think that's cool. And I think more hot hatches should have red seatbelts.
That's the only way I can get you into them. Brilliant.
I should point out that this car is from the actual collection here at the Great British Car Journey. It has done just let this sink in, 400 miles from new. So we're going to be extremely gentle. There'll be no checking how well this thing handles. We are going to be really sympathetic to this.
I kind of feel wrong.
Well, even though we're only going to put a
Driving it.
handful of miles on this
Yes.
car, it's still a fair old proportion of what it's got on it. Right?
Really is.
So
What a privilege.
yeah, it's a real privilege, so thank you to Richard and the team. And if you go to the Great British Car Journey, have a look a little bit closer, because there are cars like this with just a few hundred miles on, and that's one of the beauties of this place. It's remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah.
It feels and smells and looks like a brand new car.
Well, it literally is.
Yeah. 400 miles on its delivery miles.
I was going to say, it's got delivery mileage on it, so we are driving a brand new car.
Yeah, it's barely running, is it? And the guys have had to recommission it and get it ready to go on the road for us to do this video, which
They are good,
fair play.
aren't they?
They are.
They do look after us here.
Yeah, they do.
They're a good bunch.
Yeah.
What a lovely team.
But what an incredible car to have bought from new and to not drive. It's bonkers, isn't it?
It's a real shame, isn't it?
40 years old and it's not been driven. It has been part of the British Motor Industry Heritage Trust collection, and Richard actually managed to buy it when they were clearing out some of their exhibits, which explains why it's such low mileage.
Yeah.
The Metro should have been so much more than it was, and had it been, it would have outsold the Mini and would have outlived the Mini.
Yes.
As it is, they rested again. Typical BL boardroom politics. They rested on their laurels. They thought, wow, 1980, launched the Metro, and look at the sales. But that was because at that point, we got out of the 70s, the government was saying buy British, the whole country needed something to believe in, and the Metro was it, and then we bought them and didn't quite believe in them so much after that. And like the other early model BL cars of this era, it took them until the second iteration, this one, to actually get things right.
It's a nice, it's bijou. It's a little bijou residence, isn't it? It's nice, it's compact, but it feels...
It's got red seat belts.
Oh, you and your seatbelts. I know what I'm going to get you for Christmas.
A set of red seat belts. I don't need them because we've got 3 cars today that have got red seat belts, and for me that's part of the attraction. If I sport a car and you want it to be unapologetically sporty, so I know this has wheel trims, and it's unbelievable now in 2023 to think of buying a hot hatch, as this really was.
Yeah.
Warm hatch, hot hatch at the time,
yeah,
with wheel trims. That's just bonkers. But we did, and to have the sporty details such as the red detail and the red stitching on the steering wheel, the red piping on the doors, and the nice plastic piping as well, it's really cool.
Lovely.
And the seats are incredible, aren't they?
They're so comfy.
They're so comfy, but they look
so
really good as well. They're very handsome, sporty seats. So
I want to let you have a go. I'm going to stop it. I don't want to go around again.
No,
I'm so
we're being conscious of the mileage
conscious of the
this.
mileage. So I'll let you have one drive round. That's all you're allowed to have. I love it. I do. It handles nicely. It's going to. It's practically a brand new car, like we said. But I like it. I like the little design features. I think it's, yeah, it feels solid for a little car.
Yeah, I just want it to feel sporty, and I have driven one of these, so hands on the cars on the table. I've never driven one that's brand new like this one, which is a bit weird. I'm looking forward to that, but I already like it.
Me too.
It's the old adage, isn't it, that the back seats have never been used, but these ones have literally never been used. The seatbelt buckles at the bottom are bright red. You know, you get the kind of dirty, grubby seatbelt. Oh, they're red.
It is
the
lovely.
buckles are red as well.
It's really lovely.
The buckles are red. Look, the buckles on the seatbelts in the back are red.
Yeah. What?
It's not just these bits. Look.
Yeah.
The buckle bits as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it would be though, wouldn't it? All matching. Why would you have a different colour? Are you feeling okay?
It's just excited to have red and red carpets. Look, red carpets.
Do you know what?
Look at the red carpets.
That's probably me. It sounds very silly, but it's probably one of my favourite things about this interior.
The red bits?
The red carpet.
Yeah.
It's super smashing lovely, I love it.
What did you describe? Bourgeois?
Bijou.
Bijou.
Bijou residence. Like, you know, when you're looking for a house to buy and it's tiny, instead of saying it's really small, they go, bijou residence. It's because it's tiny, isn't it? But they don't want to tell you it's small because they're going to charge you £250,000 for it. So
another French word, boudoir. This is something we can't share with you watching, wherever you're watching this. As it gets warm, it actually smells like a modern car does when it's new and the plastics all get warm, because it really is getting warm for not far off the first time. That is mad. So I know in the last series we did rally cars and I talked about the Metro becoming the Metro 6R4, but the bit that I missed out in that, because I saved it for this, is that the Metro, the MG Metro itself was a very popular competition car in this form. Yeah. You had the MG Metro Challenge, like the Maestro Challenge. I'm even driving around the littlest puddles because I'm conscious of how immaculate this is. That's exactly what I did. I didn't want to get it too wet. No. And so the MG Metro Challenge cars that they raced and rallied looked really cool. They had Ronald alloy wheels, and we put some of those on our MG Metro, and it just set it off nicely. Just with its little wide arches, and it's, I mean, the Metro Turbo had the arch kit on as well, so they had the extensions like XR3Is, and they looked even cooler. I'm happy in here, and I like the dash. I like it. And it's amazing, isn't it? Normally you look at, and this will sound a bit weird, but you'll know what I mean if you've driven an 80s car in the last 10-15 years. You look at the needles and the dashboard, and the white bits are a little bit yellow because they've been out in the sun and the plastic's gone brittle over the years. These, because the car is effectively new, are like brand new. They're very crisp and white. And I know
So
it sounds like a really weird detail to obsess over, doesn't it? But I don't think I've ever driven a classic car with so few miles.
Paul Woodford, obsess over something. As if that would ever happen. Sorry?
Look, we've got a flap. What's the flap for?
I don't know.
Is that a wind thing? Put the sunroof up, let's see. No, has it ever been up?
Don't do it.
Why?
Don't touch. Move away from the sunroof.
Why?
Because it might never have been opened.
But then I want to be the first person to have opened the sunroof.
No.
Why? I can't tell if you're being serious.
Happen.
I can't tell if you're being serious.
I'm being serious. Don't touch it.
I want to say I was the first person to open the sunroof on this car 40 years after.
What if something really bad happens? Like
What could happen?
Like the wheels drop off or something.
Oh, you're overthinking this. I've opened it. There we are. Oh, even that feels like a new. Well, it is a new sunroof. That is cool. Look at the flap.
Hang on, what does that note say?
Look at the flap. Look at the flap. That, I think.
There's a note here.
Do you know what I think that is? I think it's for.
Please do not open the sunroof.
Does it really say that? Does it really say that? Show me the note. Show me the note. Have I just fallen for it? I actually closed it again.
You are silly. You're so silly.
My dad will watch this and he'll be like, "You told me to sell the MG Metro," because I wasn't that enamoured with it at the time.
Yeah, but we're not, are we? You know, times change and our
That was only a few years ago.
Our tastes change as well, though, don't they?
For a gearbox, which, because it's got the same, obviously the running gear of the Mini, so the gearbox is in with the engine, and they're normally a little bit naff. Because this is brand new, I've never actually felt that a Mini or a Metro gear change quite like this.
No. It's usually like staring.
Yeah, it is. Wow.
Yeah. My Mini, I would like.
So we really wanted to tell you about the MG Metro, but all we've managed to do is tell you what it's like to drive an as new
one.
1980s classic car.
Yeah. We haven't really done very well, have we?
But hopefully you've got a feel for that, because I think that's a very unusual experience. Not many people would get to do this.
They wouldn't actually, no, not
No, we're just
now.
rubbing it in.
Yeah, sorry, you can't actually drive this.
But you can come down and see it. I mean, how many miles have we put on it?
Over it.
We've only put 0.6 of a mile
I feel better
on this car, so I feel better for that.
Yeah.
I'd love to take it out on the open road and tell you what a brand new MG Metro feels like on the open road in 2023, but it ain't gonna happen because this is an absolute.
Would it possibly be 2024?
Classic. Yes, yes, it's 2024. You know, somebody actually commented on one of the other ones we did last year about a continuity error. And said he'd spotted his first continuity error. I can't remember who it was. Put it on Facebook. And I said, well, that's great. If that's the only one you've spotted in this whole 4 series of the Great British Car Share, I'm not sure. But if he didn't spot the continuity errors when you and I were wearing facial hair,
yeah,
then he can't have seen the Capri. Anyway, you're looking all wistful. You missed the facial hair?
I always look wistful.
Okay.
It's like the look I try and. Oh, it's raining. Quick, get this car back on the cover now.
Back into the Great British Car Journey it goes.
British Car Journey, definitely.
That whine of
this little baby
an A
is
series.
not staying out in this weather.
No. Back in its spiritual home.
I'll leave you to leather it off. Anyway.
A garage. It's where these cars spend most of their time, isn't it? It's fitting we should end the drive here. Wow, what a car. In more ways than one.
If you'd like to sit there for a few minutes with your red seatbelt on, I'm quite happy. I'll just go and get.
We've got a day full of red seatbelts, and so I am quite happy.
Yeah.
It's the only reason that most people bought these cars back in the day was because they had red seatbelts.
Do you think that really that's what it was, or do you think maybe that you're not really thinking straight?
No, the red bits made the car sporty. It's important. It's an important detail. She doesn't take this bit seriously.
Oh, Paul, I take everything you say seriously.
Smell that. It smells like a new car smells when it gets hot.
Sorry, I thought you'd fine.
See what I mean? Unbelievable.
Well, when the man says to me, smell that, that's usually what's happened.
You're hanging out with the wrong men.
How am I going to tell him that the maestro ain't got red seatbelts? His little face.